Welcome into another fun, fabulous edition of Gone Racin from the fabulous Dude Wipe Studio. A lot of fabulous today. Dude Wipe Studio at the fabulous South Point Casino in fabulous Las Vegas.
That's what the sign says.
It does say
Fabulous Las Vegas.
We're having a fabulous day already in here because, as usual, Mr. Motley, our show starts off with our, we are a great family here at the South Point Studio, and we just love how Ann does it. It's amazing. I'm doing math every night with my son, Michael, and we're arguing right now about, negative times a negative equals positive, and we're going through all these things. And it's so funny that, I argue with him about his times tables, and I got Ann that goes 15, 5, 4, 3. It's like, okay, all right.
Well, everything was really smooth until like 10 seconds before the show started. And next thing you know, we're hearing some choice words.
Yeah, poopy, and it's time to go. So welcome into Gone Racin, Mr. Jeff Motley, Mr. Brendan Gaughan, hanging out at the desk here today.
Good to have you back in the studio.
I am glad to be back after
an adventurous week down in Mexico.
Yeah, my terrible week in Mexico this week. First, want to say I don't know if he actually is watching down in, but the Huizar family, who I'm wearing their hat today. Thank you to the Huizars and Beto and his friend Noe for helping me out down in Baja. If you're ever in the little town of Erendira in Baja, California, please go by and visit their ferreteria. They a very nice place. You got a lot of equipment if you need to move any dirt or take down the side of a mountain or do anything else.
Or have to tow a race car.
You got to knock the mountain down first to get it out. So has plenty of equipment down there, so thank you to the Huizar family and Beto and Noe for getting me out. And that was all I want to talk about the Baja 400 because it was the Baja 111. So let's talk about Bristol last week because some people wished it was the Bristol 111.
I bet your tires held up better than the tires did at Bristol.
My BF Goodrich tires held up great this weekend. Thank you, Mr. Motley, and that's a great plug for me. It definitely was an interesting week. And what happens when it's an interesting week for me? It means that all that knowledge that I tend to spout just kind of goes out the window because it becomes a crazy race. And it was a crazy race. A lot of comers and goers, which was fun for the fans. A lot of the tires, which the older guy in me loves when the tires wear out because now the guys have to learn how to save. Maybe 60 laps was a little light, but
I love it when we get a short track race and they have to pit for tires as opposed to pitting for fuel.
That's the way it used to always be, wasn't it? Back when we started doing this together, right. 30 years ago.
You could run 200 laps around Bristol. I mean, okay.
Okay, the tire, but man, when you
couldn't run 40 or 50. I mean, if you ran 50,
Superman,
you were pushing it.
That's right. And Superman feels great on stickers, but doesn't after lap 30. That's the way it's supposed to be. That was fun to watch.
That cape was going away in about lap 8.
Yeah, it was too.
It was going away quickly.
But in the end, Christopher Bell, a young gun, comes out and gets the W. But like you said, young gun with a lot of dirt experience.
A lot of dirt experience, but also a guy who is always smooth. I don't think you ever watch Christopher Bell drive a race car and say he is over driving that race car. That is not, usually he does not do that.
When he does, he's driving the piss out of something for a reason. He is a very smooth driver.
Or he's mad. He got mad the week before at his crew chief, and his team. And the other thing I want to give him credit is that on that last lap, Brad Keselowski hit him about as hard. Now, although Brad hit him square, if Brad had hit him in the corner, he probably would have gone around. I don't care how great a driver Christopher Bell is.
There's nobody in the sport that can hit you as hard as Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski knows how to pop.
I'm surprised he didn't cave his own radiator in. He hit him so hard.
And it actually
propelled Bell forward.
When I flipped to Talladega, remember who it was that was pushing me at 218 mile an hour? It was old Brad K.
Yeah, but there's a lot of pushing it.
The man knows how to push. And he did give Chris a good push to the win. And so a big win for C. Bell, and the third win, a sweep of the first round for Joe Gibbs Racing, which is also extremely, extremely impressive.
And the one Joe Gibbs car that wasn't there might have been the strongest car most of the night, and that was Ty Gibbs, who I thought for a while
finished 10th.
I thought he was going to get his first career win there for a while.
First and 201 laps led Ty Gibbs. So, hell of a day for Ty. But, great day if you were a better for Christopher Bell. Plus 700 to win. Top 3 was plus 200. Over Larson, he was a plus 140. Over Hamlin, he was a plus 130. Group A, he was plus 300. And, of course, Toyota was a plus 160. So that was, I believe somebody here had that one, and that was the only one somebody had. So good day for Christopher Bell. And if you look at the top 10, Jeff, how about some of these names in the top 10? Way to go, Zane Smith. First of all, Brad Keselowski was a plus 700.
And had a great chance to win there, Dan. He really did. He ran Bell down.
I am sure Wyatt was jumping up and down for that deal.
Our old buddy White. I'm surprised we didn't hear from him. I didn't get a text.
We didn't get a text from him this week. We got a text from him. But how about if you bet Zane Smith, and you and I think poo-pooed the second page of our top threes. Like, we glanced through that like we ain't never glanced through that before.
You and I both were kind of like,
ain't happening. Zane Smith, 50-1.
Well, and I think had we known the tires were going to go the way they were, we would have said, hey, look, take a flyer on some long shots because something weird's getting ready to happen on Saturday night.
But Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, good runs there. Corey Heim, that part-time gig there at 23-11 with a sixth place. Hocevar, great run.
Strong all night long.
Yep, and there's our Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs. All right there, Ty Gibbs was fantastic. Alex Bowman was really, was pretty darn good too.
And, he was running top 5 there for a while, but he was also in a situation where he knew he had to win this race to advance.
We had talked about it. He had to win to get in, and he was just throwing the haymakers and the Hail Marys, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I think we knew going in that we knew Josh Berry and Shane Van Gisbergen were probably out of it anyway. We knew that Bowman or Austin Dillon were probably going to have to win. Neither one of them did. And I tell you, Joey Logano needed that run because once we get into the standings and we talk about it, Joey Logano is going to be sweating bullets these next few weeks.
Well, and they were interviewing Chase Elliott after the wreck when he wasn't in, or he was in, but he was out of the race, and he was saying, I think I'm done. And Chase was a little more negative than he needed to be because he had it. But that's where you and I talk all year long, Jeff. Every point in the playoff format matters. Every point during the regular season matters for those playoff points because that is what saved Chase Elliott and got him into the second round.
It did, without question. And I have to point out, maybe one of the funniest radio transmissions I've heard in years.
Ryan Blaney?
No. Chase Briscoe, I guess they told him about Elliott being out of the race. Briscoe comes over the radio, says, does that knock him out of the playoffs? And James Small, his crew chief, I can't use all the words he used, but he goes, we're not worried about whether he's in the playoffs or not. We're trying to win this race. And that is not exactly the way that James said it, but it was one of the best radio transmissions I've heard. Go look it up. I think you'll be entertained.
I had conversations about that, like me and Shane Wilson and Todd Myers. I remember back in the day, I used to ask for like NCAA scores during Martinsville, and I even asked for like an NBA playoff one day at Martinsville, and they were getting very, very, very angry with me that I was not focusing on racing.
Well, I do believe Josh Berry got out of the car after he knew he had been eliminated, and he goes, well, at least I hope the Vols won. And they're like,
they didn't.
We got some bad news for you.
Yeah, Josh Berry. I mean, just side note, poor Josh Berry. Dead last. 3 races in a row in the playoffs. Just a terrible, terrible start for Josh. Feel bad for him.
And that season really had not gone well even since they won in Vegas.
But it wasn't that bad. That was just,
right.
God, that was terrible.
It was atrocious.
But let's get to our group winners real quick. Group A gave us our W, and it was the dog in Group A at Christopher Bell with the plus 300. Alex Bowman with a plus 250 in 8th for Group B. So, pretty good right there for both those two. Brad Keselowski, Group C, gets a second place finish. Way to go, Brad. Chris Buescher, once again, who cashes tickets, baby?
Chris Buescher cashes tickets.
Look, Bubba Wallace was my bet on this one.
And Bubba drove his tires too long, and there's several guys who really had the rubber catch on fire inside the wheel well.
12 laps. Bubba was up front all day. They just ended up with a bad day. So Chris Buescher, the man that, our original man that cashes tickets right there. You and I went head to head in Group E. John Hunter Nemechek versus Eric Jones. When John Hunter had that problem with like 20 laps to go, I'm like, I gotcha. John Hunter said, not so quick. And then Group F, how about that? Corey Heim, which you and I called this a 3-man horse race in that group and took Corey Heim out of it. Shows you what you and I, the pros know. 6th place finish right there.
Yeah, but that was one of those I think we threw the X on, and
it was.
So nobody went down.
We said it was a 3-man horse race, and then just said, it ain't coming out of here. And way to go. So we get down to how we are second round of the playoffs, Jeff. Points reset. We cut out the final 4 guys. Now we have 12 left, sitting outside the cut line. Cindric by 1, Joey Logano by 2, Ross Chastain by 2, Tyler Reddick by 3, Bubba Wallace and Chase Elliott, the bottom 2, 8th and 7th right there. Chase, like we said, got saved by his number of points. So way to go, Chase, to get stay alive in the second round.
Well, and I think when you look at those numbers out there and you see the number of wins, I mean, Tyler Reddick, he doesn't have any wins this year. That's the reason he's going to be down there at the bottom. So this is where I think you can get through that first round. You're right. The bonus points save Chase Elliott, but you can run good in the first round and you can
still
get through without the points.
Like
but
we tried to get with SVG. If SVG had just done well, he had enough bonus points.
If he had averaged the top 15, he'd top be 20. In this top 20 sit here, and Reddick probably would be sitting out. So I think now is when those bonus points are really, really going to come into effect. And I think that's why you see Bubba Wallace at the bottom right now. He's been really, really good of late, but he's only got that one win. Even though he's run well.
Not very many stage points to get any more bonus points either to carry over.
Correct.
So, all right, well, let's get to this round of the playoffs. Starts this week at New Hampshire, the Mobil 1 301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Then we head off to the Hollywood Casino 400, mile-and-a-half track out in Kansas. Then we got the Roval. That's the final round of the second round of the playoffs. So SVG is going to be our favorite there, but not in the hunt to continue anymore. Then we kick off the second round with your and I's favorite, the South Point 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And then we go to the Mighty 62 will return at the Yellowwood 400 at Talladega.
Well, and one thing I want to bring up, I think if you're one of these guys, especially if you're like Logano, Reddick, Chastain, and Cindric and these guys, and even maybe Bubba and Elliott, I think you got to be looking at New Hampshire and Kansas as very, very important races because I don't think you can expect a walk-off win at the Roval.
Seabell did it a couple years ago. I don't expect that
but
right
SVG wasn't in that race and not the SVG that we've got racing right now. So I think if you're lower in those standings and you feel like you really need to get that win, you better be going after it at New Hampshire and Kansas.
What I dig with the schedule is every round has a wild card. The first one you had Darlington, which is just tough as nails, and then Bristol, which the night race is that wild card. The second round, you got the wild card of the Roval. The third round, you got the wild card of Talladega. The last round, you
Talladega and Martinsville.
So I kind of dig that you have that they did the schedule with these wild cards mixed in there. But
I think the pressure's ramped up in these first two races
because they're not wild cards. They're the ones that the standard guys want to get the W.
And you expect SVG to win on the Roval.
You're expecting not to win. You're expecting to hopefully get a second. Right. All right, guys, when we come back, we get you who's been good, who's been bad, and the odds to win at New Hampshire.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back to the show that has more fun than any other show on SiriusXM. Gone Racin'. Dude Wipe Studio, Jeff Motley,
even
Brendan
on
Gaughan.
the Comedy Channel, we have more
even
fun.
On the Comedy Channel,
we have more fun than the Comedy Channel.
Way more fun than them. We are having fun today in studio, Mr. Motley. We're just getting ready now to break down everything that is the what's this thing called? The Mobil 1 301. I love that they do the 301.
I think they could have called it the Mobil 301, like with a little
the 30 Mobil 1
30 Mobil. I don't know. You know how they got that 301 name, right?
Because Mobil 1.
No. The 301, it used to be a 300. And then they had a sponsor called Lennox. And Lennox, their whole slogan was, we go the extra mile.
I do remember that.
So they added a mile to it.
I do remember that. They added the mile because they went the extra mile.
They did.
That was just like the Talladega 499. Remember, it was...
And it became the 301.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because remember, Aaron did the same thing. Aaron had like they did the 499.
It was Aaron's 499, and yeah.
So they both had the joke with the 1 mile.
That's your Earl Ross Larry McNugget for today.
All right. Well, after our McNuggets are here,
Larry doesn't have that like trademark or anything. Does he?
No. He's on NASCAR channel with us.
We're friends with Larry.
NASCAR channel brethren, right?
We
there.
love Larry. Larry likes us, so we're good.
Danielle, Larry, we love you. We're good. I listen to their show all the time. That's where I get half my McNuggets from anyway. So the records at New Hampshire, though, some guy look. Christopher Bell, I zeroed in on this. Christopher Bell, of course, coming off of last week. Christopher Bell not been hot on mile and a half this year, right? We've talked about how bad they've been. Well, here you go.
That's a mile and under. 5
races, 2 wins, 3 top 5s for Christopher Bell in his career here.
Well, and one thing you have to also point out is that since 2017, we've only been going to New Hampshire once a year now. So you see guys like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Logano, guys have been racing for a long time. They got all these starts at New Hampshire because it was 2 races a year. So Bell's numbers are skewed a little bit because he's only got 5 starts, but 5 starts and 2 wins and 3 top 5s. And
that's pretty impressive.
And the guy's been in contention every race there. I mean, Christopher Bell at New Hampshire, there was a while, Truex was really good there at New Hampshire. well, one of 20.
That joke's going to live forever,
But we also saw sometimes at New Hampshire, you would get your surprise wins. Eric Almirola, Brian Vickers, some guys that you didn't necessarily expect to run well there.
New Hampshire's a place that doesn't always run chalk heavy. New Hampshire's a place that does get some guys, but when guys are good here, they're great here. This is a driver's track. Let's get into guys that might have a driver's track and the odds to finish. We just mentioned Christopher Bell's stats. How about this, Jeff? This might be the lowest we've seen since an SVG at a road course. Christopher Bell is your favorite at plus 250. Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney at 500s. Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, 800s. Joey Logano, 12. William Byron, 14-1. Then we got a bunch of 20s. Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, 20-1. Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski, and Ty Gibbs all round out 30-1 on our first page at the South Point.
Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record week to week to week to week. And that's why I said that so many times, because it sounds like a broken record. But you're going to give me Chase Briscoe at plus 800. Now, and driving for Stuart Haas, he was pretty good here.
Well, guess who won the last race here, Mr. Jeff Motley? Chase Briscoe.
And
did not win.
No, he didn't win. He finished second.
He finished second
in the last race here.
And that was when Stuart Haas Racing was running abysmally last June. They were terrible in June of last year.
And Stuart Haas had run well here. Eric Almirola got a win here for Stuart Haas
Stuart
Racing.
Haas was not Stuart Haas of Kevin Harvick.
Correct. But we know the Toyotas are good here because Christopher Bell's been very good in a Toyota. And we know Martin Truex Jr. was very good here, and that's kind of our theory.
And let me give you want to give you a little stat on Martin Truex Jr. at New Hampshire, his home track. Last 10 races he raced here. Average finish 5.4, 9 wins, 6 top fives, and a win. So what have we done when we combined Christopher Bell and Martin Truex?
Chase Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe, Martin Truex.
Exactly. He's kind of like an overlay there.
Yeah.
He's like Martin Truex Jr.
And
I mean, he really is. I don't want to say the third because that'd be like his son, but he's like Jr.
Chase Briscoe, 4 races, 2 top 10s in his 4 races with 1 top. So I'm looking at this, and I may actually pick a winner this week because Chase Briscoe, as fire as he has been lately, second place here with Stuart Haas last year. Martin Truex, how well he's been here. The stats say, if I'm going to pick a winner, this is my week, and I love that 800
Well,
on Chase
there's no
Briscoe.
question the value is there. The only thing that scares me away is I do think his teammate Christopher Bell's a little bit better here.
And Denny Hamlin's pretty darn good to me.
And Hamlin's going to be good here. And I'm actually a little surprised that Ryan Blaney's plus 500 and Larson's plus 800. Well, maybe that's good on Larson, but Blaney's never won here. Blaney doesn't have a great track record here. And Larson, I'm sorry, but I've been saying this every week. Since he did that double from Charlotte and Indy, Larson has not been the Kyle Larson that we've seen before. And I don't know what they've lost in there. I don't know. Figure it out. So maybe 800 is a good number on Kyle Larson. Because you think about this, most years, even though he hasn't won here, he'd have better numbers than that.
Oh, he's pretty darn good here. I mean, Kyle Larson is last 9 races, 6 wins or 6 top 10s, 4 top 5s.
But he hadn't won here. And we're talking about an odd to win.
But 9 races, 6 top 10s, pretty darn strong. 4 top 5s. And foreshadowing, we're talking about all these guys at the top of this list.
Not been a good Chevy track.
No,
because even most of those Kyle Busch wins, were driving
that was
for
what
Toyota.
I was going to foreshadow, which is when we get to the manufacturer's prop, I don't see a very good number on old Toyota. Let's get to the second half of our wins here, and that's Chris Buescher, Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, all 40-1. Carson Hocevar, 60. Ryan Preece, 80. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, also at 80 there. John Hunter, 100. Eric Jones, 100. And then the field is 30-1. I'm going to go out again and say I don't think the field bet is a good bet here. I wish I could jump on the Kyle Busch bandwagon, man. I mean, but I can't jump on Kyle Busch.
The one name up there, because when I talked about the Eric Almirola I talked about
what's the shocker to you?
The guy that to keep an eye there that could be the Brian Vickers, Eric Almirola this week. He's driving a Ford, and we know the Fords have been strong here. We know how Stuart Haas has done here in the past. He has run so many laps on this track in a modified.
Ryan Preece.
And he's from Connecticut. It's definitely a hometown track for him.
It's definitely a home track.
Ryan Preece, if you're looking for an upset, a guy who could pull something out at a high number, Ryan Preece at 81. Hey, you got a couple bones?
So here's the only one that I'd really look at. This guy finished this race last year with the team he's with in 8th, and that's John Hunter. And right now, the legacy guys are running much better than they used to. And if you're asking me for the long shot winner of this race, I'm going to say that John Hunter at 100-1 has a outside shot with how Legacy has been running better. John Hunter was running well last week at Bristol and ended up with a tire thing, stayed out too long, did the deal, and still had a decent comeback. So I do kind of like the John Hunter at 100-1 on a long shot, just a straight long shot.
And that's what I'm saying. I like Priest, but I don't dislike John Hunter as a long shot either. I mean, I think those are the two best long shots we've got on this page too.
That's all right. Let's get to our top threes. And the top threes, we're going to see something we don't get often much anymore, but we got it. Christopher Bell, minus 125 for a top three. Then we got Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, all at plus 180. Chase Briscoe, 200. Joey Logano, 220. William Byron, plus 3. Chase Elliott is 350. Tyler Reddick, 400. Bubba Wallace, 600. Ross Chastain, 7. Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher at 8. Brad Keselowski, Ty Gibbs at 850. Then double digits, Josh Berry, 10-1. Austin Cindric, 11. Carson Hocevar, Ryan Preece, and Alex Bowman round out the first page at 12-1. Buescher 800, okay. Brad Keselowski 850, okay. But, a lot of that chalk on that left is what I like and not a lot of return for him.
Well, I think the one you could take a look at, how good over the last few years have the Toyotas been here?
Really good.
Bubba Wallace gets a plus 600. And look, Bubba hasn't been great here, but I think we've been saying this is by far the best year Bubba's ever had in his career, where every track he's going to, look, he ran well at Bristol until the rubber caught on fire inside the wheel.
Championship form. I mean, I got to give you that.
And Bubba's become a guy who now realizes finishing third is not all bad. Bubba used to beat himself up so bad if he even finished third or fourth, and Bubba stopped doing that.
So here's the deal. Bubba Wallace 2022 finished third. Bubba Wallace 2023 finished eighth. Bubba Wallace 2024 was in a crash at lap 260. So
plus 600 to me is a good value on Bubba Wallace.
I don't disagree.
That's the one that jumps out at me.
Bubba has been extremely strong, and you and I have both said that we're putting a lot of tickets on Bubba because he has been that strong. I like that.
And
number.
I still think he would have probably won his group last week if he didn't have run the tires and set the car on fire.
So second page of this, Austin Dillon is 22-1, Daniel Suarez 28, Michael McDowell 30, Michael McDowell, John Hunter Nemechek, AJ Allmendinger all at 30-1.
Are you laughing because somebody actually wrote in thinking that you thought his name was McDougal and was complaining that you kept mispronouncing his name?
It's McDougal, but she has McDonald like Ronald. So if you're watching,
it does say McDonald.
Those that aren't listening,
so it could be McDowell, it could be McDonald, it could be McDougal, depending upon whether it's me, you, or Ann.
There you go. We got it. Noah Gregson, Eric Jones, 35-1, SVG 40, Ricky Stenhouse, 45, Zane Smith, who had a great run last week, Todd Gillen, both at 50, Justin Haley, 70, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, 100s, Ty Dillon, 150, and Cody Ware, 200. McDougal, McDowell, notwithstanding, 30-1 for him might be the only guy, but they have not run well. He's got a good history, but not run well. Hey, John Hunter.
I was going to say, you just mentioned John Hunter is a guy that could potentially have a big upset win.
But I'd rather take the 100-1 shot than the 30-1 shot.
Right, because I think you're kind of also sitting there saying, look, if you're John Hunter, if you can finish third, then I'd rather come back on the wrecker than come back finishing second or third. Right?
It's a great moral victory, but hey, let me
bring me the trophy or the steering wheel, right?
Yeah, I mean
the trophy or the steering wheel.
Jimmy Johnson ain't going to be mad if you come home back with a steering wheel, diving down to the apron with one to go. And coming back with a steering wheel in your hand. So
no, and that's one of the great things I think that we've seen since Jimmy Johnson really kind of got more involved in that team is that whole legacy motorsports team is.
Look, the whole team they put over there. I mean, you got Cal Wells running it. You got Matt Kenseth as like a driver coach. You got Richard Petty as just a mentor sitting in the background that almost becomes an afterthought. Now you can have Richard Petty an afterthought on a team is amazing. I mean, you got great business owners with the Allegiance, the Gallagher family there. So I think they got a recipe for success, and it's slowly working that way. So taking the John Hunter,
and Eric Jones is 35. You get 5 more points on Eric Jones over there.
He's got 9 races, 2 top 10s, 1 top 5 in the last 10. Now we talked about this. That was when he was with Joe Gibbs, but he has an 11th with Legacy in 2022 3. So and a 13th last year. So Eric Jones not a terrible shot either. I don't dislike either one of those.
Well, and guess what we had last week? We had a 50-1 guy finish third.
Yes, we did.
And that same 50-1 guy who finished third, he's 50-1 to finish in the top 3.
I take the 30-1 guys over the 50-1 guys.
I'm just saying that. I'm just pointing out a fact.
I'm just saying.
I'm just
You're
pointing out a fact.
saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Well, there is a chance that we will be back before they fire us in a couple minutes, and we'll get more on Gone Racin'. So hopefully we're still here when you come back.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching? This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back into Gone Racin'. Brennan Gaughan, Jeff Motley, Dude Wipe Studio, and Mr. Motley. I'm now looking at the correct camera for the first time all day because, and as they have added more cameras in front of us, apparently I look like I was cross-eyed or because I was not looking at the correct camera. So, hi, correct camera. That's you.
It does feel like a paparazzi out there with all those cameras. But, I thought these fancy studios, usually the one with the light on is the one you talk to.
They all have lights on.
They all have lights on.
Professionally unprofessional here at the Dude Wipe Studio at South Point.
Yeah. So now I know that there's a camera that's yours. There's a camera that's mine. There's a camera that's ours. And then there's 2 cammers that I don't know what they're doing.
That's okay.
Maybe they're focused in on our City Light Shine bottle, right?
Thank you. I got
it. See, little love for City Light Shine. I mean, and look, you guys come to Vegas.
We can do it on the screen too. We can be like, think.
The Wonder Twin powers activate. Remember that cartoon? We're old enough to remember. We're old enough to remember that. Half the people listening are like, I don't know what these 2 fools are talking about.
Yeah, right now, SiriusXM is wishing they fired us before we came back from air. Use the verbs you want to use.
Yeah, my new verb we can't say on air.
Let's get to head-to-head. Let's just get to head-to-heads. A lot of fun in the head-to-heads this week, and some that I really do like. Some that I don't, but big numbers, Jeff. Big numbers. And it starts off, it's frightening, but Kyle Larson, he's plus 140 versus Ryan Blaney. Jeff.
And Denny.
And
but Blaney's even bigger.
But that's, is Blaney, he's good. He's got, 10 races, 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s, but average finish of 14, Kyle Larson, way better. So but like you pointed out in the break, not the same Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong there. Now, at some point, can that switch flip?
Oh, I think it will.
It absolutely can flip.
But 140 for Kyle. Kyle Larson, you give me a 140 Kyle Larson? That's kind of like, I don't know. There's other good ones. Chase Briscoe is 105 versus Kyle Larson, and I think Briscoe's been running way better than
Kyle Larson.
Absolutely.
To me, I actually like that one. I know it's not a huge return because it's plus 105, but I do like that. This is kind of a hometown track for Joey Logano too. Logano has run well here, and Logano's getting a plus. I know he kind of grew up in Georgia, but I think he was born in Connecticut. So
I just, there's a lot of big numbers here. I do like those. I don't like the Ryan Blaney 130 versus C. Bell.
I don't like anything against Christopher Bell right now, but Christopher Bell is the one that I don't want to bet against Christopher Bell here, and that's why once we get into the groups, I'm just wanting to so bad.
Let's get into the groups right now because I just looked at Group A and it made me go, ooh! I gave an audible. Okay, Group A, folks. This is bad to the bone here.
This is not a typo. This is not a typo. This is not Michael McDonald typo.
Okay, you got. Michael McDougal. McDougal.
Give me a break. I just think we heard.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Wait, they don't sponsor us. We don't need to mention that. Christopher Bell, plus 160, your favorite in Group A. Denny Hamlin, your second at 280 with Brian Blaney, co-favorite. Kyle Larson is a plus 465. Oof. Jeff, when we talk about gambling, we talk about enticement.
There's enticement there. To get Kyle Larson at 465 is...
Look, that Kyle Larson is still one of the greatest race car drivers of our time. He didn't forget in the last 6 months. Hendrick Motorsports, still one of the strongest teams ever. Didn't forget in the last 6 months. And I can take Ryan Blaney out of this and say that I think that Denny Hamlin, him being in Group A right here is, in my opinion, would be the dog normally.
Denny Hamlin here?
No, Ryan Blaney.
Blaney, yeah.
But
normally, yes.
You're giving me Kyle Larson at 465 in a 4-man horse race. Forget the head-to-head. I am yikes.
All right, tell me if you think I'm stupid here. And I'm opening myself up. But the possibility of betting both Bell and Larson in this group
still pays you.
Still pays you, right?
Well, no, you don't win if you bet Bell. I mean, Bell gives you 160.
Yeah,
if you bet Denny Hamlin, you would. But
yeah, you're right.
But
can't do that.
I love Kyle Larson at 465. Enticement, it's still Kyle frickin' Larson.
Right. But I'm also still liking the fact you can get Bell at 160 here. He's minus 125 for a top 3.
Now, what you could do is Kyle Larson 140 versus Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson 465. You get both wins, or you only lose a 0.6, on a bet.
My problem is Bell. Honestly, I think Bell's a value at 160 here, given the fact that he's 250 to win, but he's minus 125 for a top three. And this way, he could lose the race to Briscoe or to Logano and still win his group and still get the plus 160. So I don't even think it's bad that Bell's 160.
It is not. It is not. Honestly, if you just run the numbers, Bell at 160 is still a good deal. But that enticement down there I like too much.
And there's more to come.
There is more to come. Let's get to the next one. Group B, unfortunately, our main guy right now that we're so high on, Chase Briscoe, is plus 195. Joey Logano and William Byron at 250 each. And then Tyler Reddick, 465. I got to get some stats on old Tyler Reddick.
I would say that Tyler Reddick is more in line at a plus 465 in a group than Kyle Larson is.
So do I.
Because I'm not feeling it for Tyler Reddick right now.
But Tyler Reddick, his last 5 races here, average finish of 11.2. He has been 6th, 21st, and 13th and 10th in his whole career here. That's a pretty darn good record.
And then compare it to Briscoe, Logano, and Byron here, though.
Well, I mean, that's
the problem in that group.
Byron not super, super great here. William Byron, 7 races, 0 top 10s, average finish 17. Chase Briscoe,
and Joey Logano.
And Joey Logano, that's my problem. Logano last 10 races, 6th best point getter. So, where did Tyler Reddick finish 6th here in the race last year? Led 63 laps in the race here last year.
I just think if Larson puts it together, then Larson, that's a great value. I think Reddick's going to have a hard time winning this group.
Yeah, but 465 in a group.
465, it's a big number.
Wait. There's more.
There's big numbers all over the board.
And unfortunately, all the guys we like to bet on are the favorites. In Group C, Bubba Wallace is 190, Ross Chastain 220, Austin Cindric and Brad Kay at plus 365. Cindric is persona non grata at the moment, in my opinion. He has not done a whole lot to give me anything to say I want to bet him in any place right now. Not good last week, not good here last year. So I look at this and can say Cindric I don't like at all. Ross Chastain is a wild card, but Brad Keselowski pulled out a hell of a deal last week. But Bubba Wallace at 190, I like it. I mean,
well, first off, I don't really like the Chevys here because the Chevys have not been nearly as good here as the Toyotas and the Fords.
So that gives you a Ross Chastain
which
drop?
Really kind of helps me drop Ross Chastain out, and then I kind of agree with you in the Cindric situation. So I really feel like this group could come down between Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski. And while I think there's a reason why Bubba's the favorite here, I think if you were to say, okay, this is going to be head-to-head between Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski, and you get a plus 365 on Brad Keselowski, I can see where there's real value there.
Last 10 races, what has Brad done here? Only 8 top 10s and 5 top 5s and a win in the last 10.
And he just finished second last week at Bristol. And I know Bristol and New Hampshire are not the same, but I mean, Keselowski's running better.
I mean, you go to what he's done at RFK, 7th, 5th, and then a 28th. So, I mean, Brad, the dog in this one, even though I'm thinking the Bubba Wallace's championship form, like you said, that number is a good return. So I kind of like it.
Yeah, no question about it. I think it's certainly worth the value.
Let's get into Group D, and this one I do not get at all. The numbers, if you're watching the stream, have changed. They've been bet down. Your favorites now are Ty Gibbs and Josh Berry at 255, Chris Buescher 275, Alex Bowman 290. Jeff, I think you and I might call this a lock. I bet we would both say this at the same time. To me, the guy that finished 5th in this race last year is Chris Buescher.
I love Chris Buescher here. And
Bowman, we know what your feelings are on Bowman.
Well, and look, that team clearly it's a gut punch, both for him and for Barry getting knocked out of it last week.
And Barry, they're reeling right now. I mean, I know this is a track that Barry, should be good on, but that team is just reeling.
They're just trying to get the truck inside the tunnel without hitting something right now. I mean, it's just been it's been a rough last few weeks.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Do they have a tunnel? I can't remember. Yeah, they got a tunnel in New Hampshire. Yeah, they do have a tunnel in New Hampshire. So.
That was amazing. But
was that unfair?
No, that's not unfair. That's unfair. He's not even the favorite anymore. I think Chris Buescher, 275. That's if I'm giving you the old school lock of the week, me and old Pete Pistone, that's my lock of the week is that Chris Buescher.
Yeah, I would say when I look at all the groups, that's the one I feel the best about is Chris Buescher winning in Group D. Yep. And the fact that he started out as the favorite and has gotten bet down to not being the favorite is really surprising. And who's putting all this money on Josh Berry that's changed these lines? That's a little confusing to me. Gibbs, I get. Gibbs, I get a little.
Gibbs is the one that gives me some pause.
Probably gives me the most heartburn, and that's why the fact
when Gibbs shows up, man, he is bad to the bone.
Correct.
So that's the only one.
But I'm with you totally. I like Buescher a lot right here.
All right, let's get to Group E. Group E, our co-favorites, Ryan Preece and Kyle Busch in Group E. Oh my God! And then bet down John Hunter, Nemechek 305, Austin Dillon 310. To me, this is amazing that I'm saying that I have Kyle Busch in Group E and Jeff Motley. You betting it?
Well,
I mean, are you betting Kyle Busch?
No. And I know that's like
Kyle Busch in Group E. If you had said this to us 6 months ago, how about a year ago even, we'd been like, oh my God, Kyle Busch Group E, this is a lot.
And he's in Group E against three guys who don't typically even average top 20 finishes.
Yeah, not good for Kyle Busch.
I'll be honest with you.
You like Preece.
I like Preece.
I know you do. I like John Hunter here. I like John Hunter.
I don't dislike John Hunter at all. I just think this track.
John Hunter, I think Jeff Motley said he didn't like you.
I like John Hunter.
If you're listening on Sirius XM,
John Hunter,
Jeff Motley.
John Hunter is one of my favorite guys out there, and
he is one of my
talked about this.
That's why I make it fun.
I really do like John Hunter a lot, but no, I'm liking Preece here.
I mean, look, the modified thing and the whole deal, but which, by the way, just a side note, not betting related. Anybody, if you are in anywhere near there and you get to watch that modified race up there, Jeff, is that one of the greatest races of all time?
The modified races are great. When I was a kid growing
up,
modified
at New Hampshire,
and when I was a kid growing up in Martinsville, and the modifieds would come to Martinsville, I loved the modified race. But New Hampshire
awesome.
Modified race, love it.
All right, we come back. We'll get you to Group F. We'll get you to the manufacturer prop, how we did last week, and our picks for this week at the New Hampshire race. See you in a sec, guys.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Welcome back into Gone Racin. Brendan Gaughan, Jeff Motley. Thank you guys for joining us on Sirius XM or on the Gone Racin YouTube channel. Link and subscribe, all that good stuff, because everything helps, man. Everything helps. Mr. Motley, we're just wrapping up our groups here, and we were talking about that amazing modified race there, which it's a good race when every Cup Series team, driver, crew member, work stops, and everybody goes to the top of the haulers to watch that race. It is phenomenal.
And we may see Ryan Newman. Newman's been running a bunch of modified races. In fact, Newman, when he was running in the Cup Series, would always run that modified race.
Yes, he would.
And I don't know, is Preece in it? Preece could be running this race. I don't know.
No, he does. Let's get to Group F, finish off our last group. And Group F is also, if you're watching the Gone Racin YouTube channel, it has been bet down. Michael McDowell is now your favorite. Started as the dog at plus 210. And then three co-favorites, Zane Smith, Daniel Suarez, and the Dinger, all at 255. It's so tough for me to handicap this because every week, Zane Smith last week, third. McDowell suddenly has a 8th place run. Suarez shows up out of nowhere and gets a 5th place run. The Dinger and this is a track that the Dinger road course guy, the braking and all that stuff goes into his favor. So this is my X group of all the groups. I can't pick a favorite for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you here. I mean, if you said, hey, you got to pick somebody, I'd take Zane. But I'm not to pick this group. I'm kind of with you. It's Sometimes, I think Group F is one of those groups where you can kind of go and find a real little hidden gem there.
This is not one of those times.
This week, I'm just not feeling it this week in Group F.
But he's back to McDowell, not McDougal.
McDougal, McDowell, or McDonald. He'll answer to all three, right?
Only my good friends call me Brandon. So manufacturer prop, we got, I foreshadowed this at the top of the show. Wait till you hear these numbers. Toyota is plus 100, Jeff. Ford is plus 240 and Chevy is plus 250. Off air, Mr. Motley, you gave me a stat off air since you are, I'm normally the stat guy. Give me the stat on Chevrolet here.
Last time Chevrolet won at New Hampshire was in 2016.
That would be Obama presidency.
With Kevin Harvick.
There we go.
Behind the wheel.
So this is it's been a while since we have seen a Chevrolet in victory lane at the Magic Mile. Look, the plus 100, I told you I can't wait to see it because I was hoping I could get
you were hoping a plus 140, weren't you?
I was hoping a 140 or 160. I was like, all right, you give me plus 100, I can't do it. You've taken too much squeeze out of that juice. So don't like it, but still amazing number for Toyota.
I don't think Ford at plus 240 is a horrible value here because Fords have run well here, and we do have some look, wins in Fords here.
There's some Fords that Joey Logano, right off the bat could do.
I think Joey Logano, without question, Brad Kay, Chris Buescher's another one who could pull it off. So I don't think Ford at plus 240 is a horrible.
But I still think Toyota is the way to go.
It's amazing to see Chevy as the long shot at plus 250.
I think it's the first time all year we've seen that.
But look at the history, the track record.
All right, let's quick get into our championship odds. And Mr. Motley, of course, they've been cut again. So now we're down to the final, the final 12 here. I'm very proud. Way to go, Chris, Vinny. There is no field.
No field
in the championship odds in the South Point. Way to go, boys.
I'd love to see the odds on a field bet when we got odds on the other 12.
How many guys do we have up here on our screen? No, I doubt she missed. I doubt Ann missed it.
I only see 11.
There's only 11.
Don't we have 12 in the playoffs?
My guess is that the South Point has a field bet, and she just tried to save the boys. So
I guess Tyler Reddick is a field bet on this?
Nope, Tyler Reddick is not a field bet. Tyler Reddick would be in there somewhere in that probably 15 to 1 range.
So we're missing Tyler Reddick if you're looking at the screen. Yes.
I can fix it. Tyler Reddick, 15 to 1. I'm making it up. I'll take the bet. But if I look at this, I go right off the bat. I'm sorry. I think the South Point, I need to call the boys. Bubba Wallace at 50 to 1 is a huge. I'm telling you, that team is still one of my favorites to be in the Final Four.
Well, there's three names up here I see in this race.
25 to 1, Tyler Reddick.
25 to 1, we heard
that was close.
From the background. All right.
Great
Bubba Wallace, obviously, I agree with you, 50 to 1.
Chase Briscoe,
Joey Logano.
And still 18 to 1.
He's 18 to 1, and this is what I'm going to say about Joey Logano. He is not out, and they tell him after the third race of a segment, you don't get to be in the picture. I mean, that's how Joey Logano is always in it until it's over. So 18 to 1 on him. And then Chase Briscoe, I still think plus 800 because my feelings. I still think Chase Briscoe, he's my pick to win it all. He's my pick to win it all right now.
He is still, and I'm right there with you. So
Larson being the favorite to me is crazy at this point.
Larson should have been dropped, but not dropped, just dropped.
But Hamlin,
down.
Bell, and Briscoe, the three of them, and maybe Blaney have certainly been the most consistent guys.
But your hedge bet right there, Briscoe, Joey, or Bubba are the three that I love as a hedge bet. They could really be good. All right, let's talk about last week. Mr. Motley, you had another very, very solid week. You, my friend, are on fire, in fuego to steal Chris Berman's.
I went against Kyle Larson, and I hate that because, I really like Kyle Larson.
But you got 2 W's on the head-to-heads. You beat me in the head-to-head with me, mono versus mono. You got 6.2 units for the week.
My love affair with John Hunter Nemechek,
I know. It worked.
I love
and
John
I went against him. I shouldn't have. I got lucky. I got the Toyota pick to give me just a paltry negative 1.4, which I'll take it because that having that sort of deal would have been very, very bad. But I got at least a little bit of coin out of it. But how about the week? How about our pit crew? We got a lot of applauses going out this week. All right, the pit crew.
4 out of 5.
Hey, and it guarantees that they cannot be negative at the end of the year.
That's correct.
So the pit crew is going to end the season positive.
Are we sure? No,
There's
we
only
have
7 races.
And they've got 27.5.
They're not guaranteed.
They're not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed yet.
And I'm surprised you showed back up because you said you might quit the show if I doubled you up. And
you are doubled.
I have
me
doubled
officially
you up
now. Our standings, if you're watching our cool little graphic, Jeff Motley 96 units on the year, Brennan Gaughan 45.5, and the pit crew 27.5. Great comeback for the pit crew there. Solid. Jeff Motley, you're almost at my Mendoza line that it's going to be tough for me to make.
I'm trying.
You're almost there,
baby.
I'm
coming for you.
You've been on fire lately, man. You've been on absolutely in fuego. You've had an awesome run. I gotta give you the props when the props are there.
Yeah,
so.
I look like Bubba Wallace's brake line right now. I'm on fire like Bubba Wallace's brake line.
Yeah, don't run it. Or Josh Berry's was bigger.
Josh Berry's might have been bigger. Yeah, Berry's was the first one to catch on fire.
Berry had to get out of the car.
Sorry, Bubba. We'll blame it on Berry.
All right. Well, so now we get to the time where we get to the brass tacks here, and we got, of course, worst to first, and they had a great week last week, but they're still in worst. So the pit crew kicks this off, and they are jumping off the bat with a top three right there. Brad Keselowski plus 850. Okay. They got Denny Hamlin over Chris Bell at 130. They are not heeding your warning about betting against Chris Bell. They are doubling down. Did Wyatt pick these this week? Is Wyatt in the room? Brad Keselowski, Group C at plus 365. Alex Bowman, Group D at 290. And they did not listen to me and you. They like Kyle Busch in Group E at plus 235.
Well, I will not be going head to head with them at all.
I might match him in one, but I am not going to be. I'll go ahead against him in one. My picks. I'm going to do something, Mr. Motley, I have not done in a very long time on this show.
Winner, aren't you?
I am. And who am I picking?
Chase Briscoe.
Dang right, baby. Come on, Chase. I love it. I think Chase Briscoe at plus 800. I think that's a great one for me. Then I've all the rest of mine in the group matchups. I'm doing no top threes this week. I got Kyle Larson at plus 465 in Group A. The juice is too big for me to leave out there.
You don't really believe in him, but you like, I can't leave 465 on the table. I can hear it in your voice.
It is. That's exactly what it is. I do agree, though, Brad Keselowski in the group. I know it's going against Bubba, and I'm caveat emptor. I'm going to buyer beware, but I got Brad K at 365. I got our favorite, the old-fashioned favorite of Gone Racin, Chris Buescher, Group D, plus 275. Thank you, folks, for betting him the opposite way for me, giving me a little more out of that. And then I am going to go head-to-head with the pit crew, John Hunter Nemechek in Group E at plus 305.
That's going to be a fun group for us this week.
Oh, you got a third one. All right. I like it. Group E is going to be the Gone Racin special this week.
It definitely will. But I'm going to start out, and, when you got a lead like I've got, you really kind of want to go chalk, right? You don't, but I'm not.
Oh.
I'm going to go plus 600, Bubba Wallace for a top three.
Okay. I like that.
Now, the rest of mine are not necessarily going out on a limb, but at least I got one that's out there. I'm only going to go with one of the head-to-heads, and that's Chase Briscoe, plus 105 against Kyle Larson. Not a lot, but I just feel good about Briscoe right now. I'm going to go head-to-head with you in Group A, but I'm going with the chalk guy. I'm going plus 160.
I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it.
You and I are in 100% lockstep in Group D. I don't think there was any question. Chris Buescher, there's no way we were going to pick anybody but Chris Buescher. Now, the pit crew has taken Alex Bowman, so they really don't seem to care what we have to say there. And then
do they often care what we have to say?
No.
Okay, just check.
That's true, unless we say something that gets us taken off the air or something. Which,
they might care about that.
Which we're not going to do that. And then Group E, we're going to have three different picks because I think the pit crew took Kyle Busch. You've taken John Hunter Nemechek. And I'm going with Mr. Modified, Ryan Preece.
We got to have a graphic next week that remember the championship belt.
Well, it means Austin Dillon's going to win the group. Because I do believe there was a group earlier this year that we took three different guys and the fourth one won.
I can't remember where it went and where it was, but I do remember we have had that happen
we should invite our other hosts of shows here, Alex or Jeff, to come in here and pick Austin Dillon, and they'd probably get the win.
Well, there you go. There we have wrapped up, put a nice little bow on our show for today, Mr. Motley, and we left ourselves a little over a minute to have a little kibbutz here. It's last week's race at Bristol went awkward with the tires and the way it happened. New Hampshire has had weird things happened in the past.
There have been some.
Right,
there's been some, right.
It's a track that can have the weird stuff. You got rain. They're not doing PJ1 stuff anymore.
But one difference with New Hampshire, unlike Bristol, is Bristol did all their practice during the day and then they raced at night. And I believe the temperature change
changed a lot
had
for them.
something to do with the tires. They don't have any lights at New Hampshire. So we're going to practice and we're going to race at the same time at New Hampshire. So I don't think that is really going to come into play. It is interesting. This is the first playoff race we've had at New Hampshire in about 8 years.
8 years.
Like 2017, I think, was last time. So good on them for hosting a playoff race. And
Magic Mile is back. And I read the stat earlier. The guy that won Richmond this year that was so awesome, Austin Dillon. This goes to our Group D thing or E thing we're talking about. This is the same tire they used at Richmond.
Well, he should be feeling pretty good about himself then.
And all three of us didn't pick him in his group.
There you go. Austin, congratulations on your win in Group E. There's some
run to the counter, pick Austin
Everybody
Dillon.
go run. Put your money on Austin Dillon for the group match.
Thank you guys for joining us this week. Come back next week when we talk everything about this and then get into everything that is. How about this? I remembered Kansas Speedway. See you next week, guys.